best to provide on-the-scene journalism. And this weekend, one of our web writers, Alex Dhaliwal, was there doing some video journalism. What a pleasure to have him report from Calgary today. And Alex joins me. Alex, great to see you again. Thanks for going out over the weekend.
Yeah, thank you for having me on your show, Ezra.
Oh, it's my pleasure. Now, you brought a few video clips with you. I know Calgary pretty well. I was born and raised there, but I haven't been there lately, and I have not seen these dueling protests. Is that how you would describe them? On one side, right outside the city hall, is the pro-Palestinian protesters, and then across the street in Olympic Plaza are the pro-Israel protesters. Is that sort of the scenario every weekend?
Exactly. So typically, since the October 7th massacre by Hamas terrorists in Israel, we've seen anti-Israel protesters on one side, and we've seen Jewish supporters of the Jewish state on the other. But on Sunday in downtown Calgary, it was just a protest involving anti-Israeli, I guess I would say anti-Israeli protesters, and some could make the case that they're agitators as well, where they were commenting on the fact that they want Prime Minister Justin Trudeau to end any and all support for what they refer to as the Israeli occupation. And, you know, they're basically saying that Canadian tax dollars should not be aiding and abetting the Jewish state of Israel, yet the anti-Israeli supporters refuse to acknowledge any of the overwhelming concerns that a lot of Jewish Canadians and a lot of Jews across the world have, which is the fact that those within the Islamic community refuse in large part to hold Hamas accountable for the atrocities they committed 2 months ago. We saw more of them Monday.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Yeah,
I know you brought with you 3 clips. Let's play the first one, and then we'll talk about it afterwards. So I didn't mean to interrupt. Here, let's take a look at what it was like this weekend.
Justin Trudeau, you can't hide. Justin Trudeau, you can't hide. We charge you with genocide. We charge you with genocide. Justin Trudeau, you can't hide. Justin Trudeau, you can't hide. We charge you with genocide. We charge you with genocide.
Now, that's a bit of a surprise to me because just last week, Justin Trudeau broke with Canada's tradition of either being pro-Israel or abstaining at the United Nations and signing on to a vote widely seen as being lopsided towards Hamas, calling for an immediate ceasefire by Israel, not mentioning Hamas by name and not calling Hamas a terrorist group. What's your thoughts on that? I mean, Justin Trudeau just went further down that road, the pro-Hamas road, than he ever has before.
First of all, I understand how so many people across this country are grieving, are angry, are worried about this unfolding humanitarian catastrophe. That is why, as a government, we're continuing to call for immediate humanitarian pauses to be able to flow in aid, to get people out to safety, to start doing everything we can to protect civilian life. These are things that we're continuing for, and that's why we're also working with our international partners towards an urgent ceasefire. We know that is important, but that ceasefire can't be one-sided.
Do these protesters think they can get more from him? Are they just going to protest no matter what? I mean, I would be thinking seriously, they would be thanking him. What do you make of that?
You know, it's on the reality is this, that I don't think, for a large part, I don't think that the protesters know exactly what it is that they are truly espousing, which is when they say, from the river to the sea, Palestine will be free. What they're essentially saying here is that they reject entirely any attempts at Jewish self-determination. And, you know, as a Muslim Canadian myself, I recognize the importance to encourage all groups, whether it's on the basis of civic unity or on the basis of ethnicity, religion, to form their own state as they so wish to. But the unfortunate reality is that they want to engage in free speech and chant and support whatever cause they want to, yet they are not hell-bent on or they do not actually want to go through the rigors of seeking a compromise, which is important in democracy. What they want is they want to get their way, and they will, in some cases we've seen in the past couple months, where they will actually utter threats of violence. And in some cases, what we've seen in the schools in Toronto and in the Greater Toronto area is where there are viable threats that are issued towards Jewish Canadians as well. And so it's rather unfortunate that rather than trying to seek justice for any innocent non-combatants that are killed in the crossfire, what they want is to completely ignore the fact of what led us to these events. Israel didn't just start dropping bombs just because of their so-called hatred for Palestinians. In fact, that's not the case at all. What they want is to seek justice against the Hamas terrorists, not militants, Hamas terrorists, for slaughtering, raping, and killing over 1,200 Israeli citizens, Jews, and other foreign nationals. And I haven't heard from many within the community their direct opposition to the events that led up to the military campaign in Gaza. It's as if they want to completely disregard the facts on the ground, and they just want to push a narrative that suits their cause, which, in my opinion, is just to pursue a very radicalized form of Islam that we are seeing in real time across Europe and in parts of Canada and the U.S., really wreaking havoc with the unity amongst different groups here in the West.
So thanking Hamas, thanking Iran, that's pretty brazen. Hey, I got to tell you, I'm going on a cruise with a whole bunch of rebels. We're sailing out of Fort Lauderdale on March 23rd, 2024. That's not so far away, less than 6 months away. A gorgeous trip around the Caribbean. Holland America Line, boy is that luxurious. And we're going to bring some of our favorite rebel talent. Sheila Gunn-Reid, David Menzies, and can you believe it? We're actually bringing Tamara Leach with us, and you are invited. That's rebelnewscruise.com.